Thank you for joining Bowtech Live and the Nate Zielinski Podcast. This is all about education, scouting, building patterns, and being successful on public land and a do-it-yourself style hunt. A huge thanks to all of our partners, including Bowtech Archery, Diamond Archery, Excalibur Crossbows, Vortex Optics, Ford Trucks, Slumberjack, Bass Pro Shops of Denver, Mr. Heater, Turkey Creek Studios, Ripcord Rest, Tight Spot Quivers, and Black Gold Sights. Join us every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Pacific on the Bowtech Archery or Nate Zielinski Facebook pages, bowtecharchery.com, and or the Nate Zielinski YouTube channel. And remember, tag and share this live feed with your friends and bring your big game questions. And here's your host, Nate Zielinski. All right, guys, welcome. Again, thank you so much for joining us live. We are now live on both Facebook and Instagram. So, guys, again, welcome. I'm Nate Zielinski. We've got a good buddy here, Chad Vermeer.
Thanks for having me.
You know, you guys gave Chad here a lot of advice going on a month ago, almost a month ago exactly. You know, we were talking about a good friend of mine on a sheep hunt that I was tagging along with. You know, luckily, thank you for letting me tag along.
Thanks for
coming. Opening day, you passed up a 5/8 after 50-something days of scouting, and we passed it up, but we weren't exactly overly hopeful passing that up. And
right.
As you can see, what's in front of us, the pass up was a great decision. So for everybody out there right now on these cameras, for you that said hold out, pass up, pat yourself on the back. We appreciate you and your helpful decision making. So huge thanks for that. But again, guys, I'm Nate Zielinski. We're coming live. Huge thanks to Bowtech for letting us take over their platform, guys. Again, as always, we're always live every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific. Again, we're on Monday nights forever, for about 3 months. Now we switched over to Tuesday nights. So again, hopefully everybody made it over here to this Tuesday night change. And again, we're always going to be here. We've been talking about all of our recent hunts and the local hunts. To be totally honest, after archery kind of closed, we quit chasing Ricky and Junior for a short period of time. Our 100% focus was on this right here. Actually, Chad had a tag, been focused 100% on him with that. We also joined our other friend and our taxidermist, Vinny Brown, on his successful sheep hunt. So it has been nothing but sheep, and more sheep for the last week. And we were talking. We actually slept in yesterday morning for the first time in 3 months.
Felt a little guilty.
It felt guilty. It's a struggle point. You wake up every day at 2:30 a.m.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I still had that wake up at 2:30. Like I'm late. And you force yourself to go out to bed. Yeah, we felt guilty. Me and the camera guy, we're all like, man, we doing something wrong? Should we just go out and find one just for the sake of it? But again, guys, it's been great. So as you're saying too, also we have to give a huge thanks to again everybody that's joining us live here, and a huge thanks for Bowtech for letting us go live on their page, guys. We're also going to talk a little bit later. We got some new software available at bowtecharchery.com, guys. They got some new framework that you can post your pictures. Basically brag to your buddies what you got, and we got a lot of cool things associated with that. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. So huge thanks to that. And also, guys, a huge thanks to everybody that subscribes to all of our texts before we get going here. Again, you can always subscribe to 313131. So just text the word WATCH to 313131, and you always get updates of when we're going live about all this type of information. And also, I know that Randy Newberg sent out a text for us to watch our show tonight. So huge thanks to Randy and everybody that came via those text messages that you just got recently just a second ago. So again, huge thanks to that. Now, guys, again, we're just starting here. Chad Vermeer, if you're just tuning in, I'm Nate Zielinski. We've been talking about Chad's sheep hunt. You started scouting in May or June for this hunt?
Yeah, so I received word I got the tag, which I was shocked with, because I only had 10 points at that
10
point.
Points, so 10 years of drawing.
So the lottery does work. You get lucky once in a while. Yep. I was that lucky one. But yeah, I think that was around the 2nd or 3rd week of May.
Yeah. And so immediately hit the field.
I hit the field right away. Oh, and I intentionally was applying for that tag because it's real close to where I have a house up by Pine. So I just figured, you know what? I know I can spend time in the field, find them, hopefully come up with a pattern or a plan. And it didn't quite go the way I expected, but it still panned out.
Still panned out. Chad is a believer in the system. Now, Chad, you're a hardcore hunter. You actually guided for the outfit that we guided together 12 years ago for elk and deer. You got a couple years for that. You've been on the Alaska moose hunt. You're a hardcore hunter.
Yeah.
You have guided for a couple years, but generally speaking, I'd say you're in the same boat as everybody watching.
Yep.
Just a guy who enjoys it. But you followed the truth. So you talk about these big sheep, and in Colorado here, we've got a ton of units that have sheep, and there's units that are literally 100% success. You draw the tag, more than likely you're going to kill a sheep. And then there's other units like this one that the odds of getting a sheep are not great. I think this is the first year that I know of in history that this ram and another ram got taken out. I mean, 2 rams in 1 year is like astronomically good results from this unit. There's a lot of big sheep in it. There's a lot of sheep in it, but these sheep are below tree line. They're in the timber. They're not easy to find by any means. And there's not very many of them. I mean, there's 13, 15 rams in a whole unit, and you got to find them. And in this case, 90% of the rams were together.
Yeah, I'd say at least half the rams in that unit were all on one mountain when we got lucky that morning.
I mean, that's it. So either way, the reason you chose this is because he follows the rules. We always preach, no matter what we're doing, archery, rifle, any animal out there, scouting is king. Scouting is what puts animals on the ground. You heard it from the very first show that we did, this live feed, back in May. We spend 60% of our available time scouting and 40% actually hunting. And that's what puts animals on the ground. Knowing the terrain, knowing the land, knowing the animals, and putting it all together. So again, you could have taken one of these other units that's 6 hours away, but not knowing the land, not knowing the animals, your odds dramatically go down. Hunting within an hour, 2 hours of your house,
you put in the time.
Scout, hunt, even hunt for 10 hours a day, but still get home with the family, still deal with your work, and be able to do that. And I mean, for this type hunt, 80-some days in the field, that's what made it a success.
Yeah, and there's no way we would have been focusing on the areas we were focusing on because I knew these rams were in there somewhere because I had seen them earlier in the year when I was scouting.
All right, so talking about that. So guys, if you're on Instagram, right now, you got a couple seconds. Jump over to bowtecharchery.com. Jump over to the Bowtech Facebook page. Jump over to Nate Zielinski's Facebook page, Tightline Outdoors Facebook page, any of them. But jump over because we're going to throw some videos. So again, you got just a second. Jump over because we cannot play that video on Instagram. So again, we apologize about that. But guys, we're going to play some footage right now. This footage here, when is this video coming out, Chad?
I took that the morning of July 3rd.
So that's July 3rd, guys. So you're watching this video right now, and literally July 3rd is when he found this band of rams. And we talked about this situation early in the season when I was talking about his hunt. He wasn't with us. But in this unit, these animals this time of year actually dropped down. That was some heat of the summer. They actually came to lower elevation instead of higher elevation looking for water. At that point in time, that was right before all of our rains
started raining.
So June started to dry things up. By early July, these animals came off the high country, were hanging down in river bottoms, and we were excited at that point.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, hey, there's 9 rams here. And if you see that ram, the ram just to the behind it, we'll pan to it here again in a second, is actually this particular ram that's right in front of us on this table. But with that being said, that this type hunt, we're like, man, they're right here. That's him right there. You see on the screen, that was the ram that we just had on the ground. But with that being said, right there he is. With that being said, we thought, hey, they're down low. It's going to be amazing. Then all of a sudden, the rain started. And literally, we saw this ram July 3rd. And when's the next time we saw him?
So like any other guy out there scouting, putting his heart into it, I never saw this ram again until last Sunday.
I mean, literally,
and I scouted 80 days.
Devin, pull back to us here.
Between hunting and scouting, it was close to 80 days.
I mean, just absolutely just incredible there. So you just heard it there. We saw this particular ram in that video, July 3rd. And again, like we just said, we were watching the video, but we thought slam dunk. We got him located. There's 9 rams. At that point in time, we're like, hey, this one and one other are the 2 shooters, but realistically, we probably would have shot a majority of those animals in that herd. And we thought it was a slam dunk. Then it started to rain, and it started to rain a little more. And all of a sudden, these animals didn't have to be in the lower country where they're dealing with predation, like lions and bears. So they went back up into the high country, but unfortunately, the high country still has timber in it, and that's when things got difficult. So like you said, how many days was it between July 3rd is when we saw this ram for the first time, and then you put him down
October 1st.
October 1st. So that entire span, we never saw what we'd consider a shooter ram, other than a couple of half curl, 5/8 curls. Chad, grab that ram, show everybody on camera. Everybody's watching it. They just saw the video. Guys, if you don't know sheep, it's just an incredible animal. I mean, it's a heavy, giant, massive animal.
Yeah.
Now, this ram here that we harvested is just a skosh over a 3/4 curl. The quick measurements, we're actually going to score this animal tomorrow. He'll be somewhere in the mid-170s. But he's got 16.5 inches on his bases. He's a little over 31 on both of his lengths. So 31 per side, 16.5 on the base. Just making this a massive animal.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about it here a little bit later in the show. You know, let's talk about it right now while we're looking at this. I mean, you look at this ram right here. Spin that thing around. Show us a back view of that thing. This is the most impressive. When that thing spins around like that, I mean, the sheer mass.
It's not light either.
It's not light by any means. I mean, the thing is just a tank of a ram. I can't help it. I'm trying to look at the camera. I'm looking at this.
It's actually 32, too.
32.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed the measurements. We're 16.5 by 32. Which helps.
It helps.
After 90 days
Gotta
of
give the animal credit, right?
I'm not going to deduct anything for sure. So just a giant ram. But the reason we want to talk about this, the area we hunted, like I said, the reason it makes it so tough is it's a lower elevation hunt, which there's a bunch of hunts in Colorado like this. But most sheep hunts, you're thinking tree line, you're thinking 12, 14,000 feet. And this unit, you have stuff as low as 6,000 and as high as maybe 12, 13.
Right.
But most of the rams are living in that tree line, probably somewhere around that 10,000 foot in elevation.
Yep.
The hard thing is they live in the trees. 60, 70% of the life of these rams is in the trees. As a sheep hunter, obviously there's no calling, there's no hunting water holes. Most of the time, you're literally glassing from afar. Your entire life lives behind glass. And when they're trees, you flat out don't see them. And that's what makes it a nightmare. The other big thing, though, you look at this ram right here. Again, it's going to be mid-170s. How old is that ram right there? This is the kicker. This is the part we love.
It shocked me, too. It's 5 years old.
This is literally a we'll say 5.5-year-old ram to kill date. So a 5.5-year-old ram with this size. You go to a lot of other units where you have the traditional hunt. You're hunting at 12, 14, 15,000 feet, whatever the case may be, super high elevation. Those animals have a rough life. I mean, they don't have near the grass. They don't have the water. They're dealing with daily migrations to and from food and water that can be extreme. These animals, I don't want to call them lazy, but they somewhat have a great life. So in this style, we're preaching this because people are going to be putting in for these tags, you know, at some point in time in their life. You have to pick and choose. Do you want the traditional see a lot of sheep, way above tree line, extremely physical? Or do you have the emotional?
Yeah.
You know, it was still physical for us, but the emotional strain of, you know, seeing a handful of sheep in 80, 90 days can wear on a person. But the opportunity of an absolute mega ram comes into play in this type of situation.
Yeah, and the mental part of this hunt was, I'm a pretty physical guy, and I was expecting it to be physical, but the mental part was definitely harder for me because I went 20-some days without seeing a single sheep. Not a ewe, not a lamb, nothing. I went 20-some days in a row without seeing a sheep, and I thought, man, is my strategy wrong? But, you know, we stuck to the plan, and it panned out. So
it's hard. So, you know, again, it was for the most part, it was you and I and then our friend Scott who was running behind the camera. And so many days you're leaning on us like, what should we do? And we're like, man, it's not our tag. I don't know what to do, you know? And because I want, you know, ourselves want to lend that confidence. Hey, this is what we should do. But in reality, it's just, you know, glass, stay positive and, you know, hope that they come out, and luckily it did for us.
And that's the biggest thing. Stay positive, keep working. You know,
that's it.
I was ready to go till October 8 when my tag ended. I was gonna hunt every single day this week.
That's what we preach. We preached it 2 weeks ago during archery season. Whenever you have a tag, you always have to plan to hunt to the last day. So many hunters are like, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk. You're never going to have the fullest hunt possible. You're never going to have the true results you're looking for unless you plan the entire season. So every hunt, every tag that I've ever had, I plan on hunting until closing light on the last day. If you get it done sooner, total bonus. But you always have to plan on going to the very last second. That's what makes success. Now, Chad, while we got some time here, we're going to cut our show just a little shorter tonight. But I want you to walk through the final moments because this is the exciting part. So we glassed and glassed and glassed. Now, a couple days before this, so we put this animal down on Sunday. Come, say, Thursday or Friday, we were actually glassing the rocks where we saw a smaller sheep. You have that smaller sheep on here, Devin? We're going to give Devin a second. I'm changing up his rotation of his videos. But we're going to pull up a smaller sheep.
This one?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's ewes.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Go back one.
The back one.
That one right there. All right, guys. We're playing a clip right now. You're going to jump to it of the smaller ram. Guys, we showed you pictures of this ram during one of our live feeds. Again, this is going to be a 5/8 curl ram mixed in there. Again, by no means a big ram. But either way, so you saw that 5/8, that half curl. We saw that opening day.
Opening day.
And we were like, man, you know, we haven't seen an animal in 20, 30 days, but here's some smaller rams. It's going to happen. And I came on Facebook and we're like, we know the odds aren't good in this unit. Should we just shoot that one? Well, you thought about it pretty hard.
Yeah.
We passed them up that first day. I came to you guys on all the social feeds, asked should we shoot this, and everybody said no, and we had no problem passing it. We went on.
Yep.
Now, like Thursday, 3-4 days before you put this one down, we were looking at those same rocks going, please, we haven't seen anything in 20-something days.
Yeah.
Step out, you 5/8 curl.
Right.
The times have changed, and thank goodness the 5/8 did not come back out.
He did not show up.
We were very mentally beat up at that point in time. And then we said, you know what? Those sheep have to be back somewhere in the vicinity where we saw them. We knew that this big sheep in that big herd that you saw originally was doing this like 3-mile circle, 5-mile circle.
Yeah.
And we had everything we could educational-wise to try to stalk them and figure it out. And we knew they were somewhere there. And we went back and glassed them one more time Sunday. Poof, there they were.
Yep.
All right, now walk through the hunt. So we see them, and what were we usually a mile away when we first spotted them?
Yep, something
Maybe
like
just a
that.
little less than that, and watched them until they bedded down, and then it was go time. And I actually backed up quite a bit just to glass, so you and camera guy kind of proceeded as quiet as possible.
Yeah.
And I want to hear the whole story again.
Yeah, so we spotted them pretty early in the morning, watched them for a little while. They were pretty calm, really relaxed. They started bedding down, moving around a little bit. So there was pretty steep, rocky, cliffy stuff. So there were a couple little chutes where timber kind of fed up into these shelves. So Scott, the cameraman, and myself decided to leave you guys back at the trucks and, kind of make sure they weren't moving somewhere we didn't know about. And we were literally scaling up rocks with packs and guns.
Climbing, pushing each other,
getting to where we had to be. But we finally got into a position where, like, mentally I knew from where we were glassing, I was pretty close to within 100 yards. Okay. And I wasn't going to get a shot from anywhere else but there. So I kind of find this little shelf that seemed halfway safe to kind of belly crawl out on.
Safe. Sheep hunting is where you always say safe, so you don't fall off a cliff.
Yeah, so I left my gun back and my pack actually back. My pack was actually down below us about 50 yards. I dumped it. I was like, I don't want to deal with that thing. Left Scotty with my gun for a second while I kind of belly crawled out to see where these sheep were exactly at. And I had to scan for a little bit, and then when I just looked a little bit more extreme behind me, we ended up being a little bit farther right than I expected. Okay. So
they're like right here, looking down on you.
Like literally right there. I saw 3 of them, and when they're looking down like they do all the time, I'm like, crap, they're looking straight at me. And so I stayed there for a little bit, tried to come up with a plan. There was no way I was going to get my gun in a position.
It's a cliff. Like,
yeah, like
you
right here,
you're done.
I had 18 inches I was laying on, and that was it. So I backed out, and we came up with another plan to kind of get more to the left where there was kind of a double bench on a rock. So I pushed Scotty up, handed him my gun, the camera, everything, and then he pulled me up, and then just kind of, I had to peek.
Yeah.
I had to peek. So I peek up, and they were perfect right there. So we talked to Scott and said, hey, here's the plan. You get back behind me, get the camera out, just go real slow, get him in the camera, and then as soon as you're set, I'm going to pop up, lay my gun over the rock, get him in the scope, and I'm going to squeeze off. Because I knew the big one, this one, was laying to the left looking up. So I knew he would be the last one to jump up, was my thought, and it was perfect because that's what I wanted. So we get up, everything's set, I pop up, I squeeze one off.
Now, just real quick, before we talk about this, so I'm listening to everything, and I've got a phone scope, and I'm getting ready to try to film it on this, and Scott, our main camera guy, goes, okay, Chad, when I'm ready and got it all on film, I'll say ready. And Chad goes, okay.
Okay.
So Scotty's trying to focus. I'm trying to focus. We're 8 seconds from being focused, and boom!
Got a little excited.
Yeah. But either way, so we're going to tell you what happened here in a second, but how many of you think about angle compensation? Everybody thinks about it with the bow. Do you think about it with a rifle? how extreme and how important is angle compensation.
Yeah.
So you squeeze the trigger.
So do your homework.
300 Ultra Mag.
So all I'm going to say.
100 yards away.
Do your homework, because I thought about it,
Yep.
because I had a conversation with you before I left the truck, and yeah, I missed. I shot about 3 inches over its back.
He missed this ram looking about like this as he's shooting at it.
Yeah.
At 100 yards after 80 to 90 days of scouting.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a throw-up moment?
Yeah,
you were probably still adrenaline packed. It's more a throw-up moment for me.
Yeah, I was pretty upset, but
rock exploded to the moon.
Yep. Rock right behind him exploded. He jumps up, runs to the left. The lucky part is it was very cliffy right above him. So I knew with the way he came out that he would have to clear this one little, I don't know, chute. Yeah, a little chute that he was in. And I had a couple glimpses of him. He stopped up on a rock. I got him in my scope. And then right when I could tell he was just getting ready to jump, so I squeezed it off midair and got him right in the neck, luckily. But I did aim low. I aimed at like his knees that time.
Yep.
You know.
So the first shot bedded. You knew shooting up here at a severe angle.
And it was severe, yeah.
You're going to be, you're shooting at 60%. And you knew your gun sighted at 200, so you put it literally, on his belly?
I put it where his belly was laying on the rock. That's where I put my crosshairs.
That's where you put the crosshairs. And you missed by 25 inches?
Yeah, probably.
At least?
22 to 24, somewhere in there.
So literally, we had a 2 foot or greater variation in shot placement from where you thought, or where it should have been according to crosshairs, due to severity of angle.
Yeah.
Luckily, it gave you another shot.
Luckily.
And we're sitting here talking about the good old days. Now, again, it was a throw-up moment when you missed that first shot, but it all worked out. The idea behind this, let's throw here to we have the dead sheep there, Devin. Let's throw to some pictures of this monster right here. There it is, guys. You can see it. The country that we were in, the mega sheep. Again, everything happened way below that in some steep country. We're going to throw to one more clip here real quick. I want to show the cliff section that we were hunting in, just to show what these rams are living on. A lot of times you get into these situations where you don't even can't even take a shot because your animal will get crippled on the way down. But you look right there, guys. This is a 35-second clip of the exact country that we're hunting these rams in. And a lot of times you're literally below them. I mean, to where you're looking straight up. I mean, vertically straight uphill at these sheep in this type of country that we're hunting in.
Yeah, and look at how well they blend into those rocks when they're not moving. That's why you got a glass.
You might, if they're bedded down, you might glass for 5 hours and never ever pick them up.
Yep.
And then you're just looking for that one moment where one sneezes, where one has to scratch its leg.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they pop up and you can get that visual, objective of that.
Yeah.
But we just want to talk about the severe angle. So, guys, we're going to run out of time here, but I want to talk really quick about that angle compensation. This is your learning point of the night. Again, we're talking about Chad's hunt. So we pulled this up because we're starting to think about it. So, in the objective of shooting at a severe angle, now so many of you whitetail hunters that are hunting in a tree stand, or tree stand hunters in general, understand this, but most of the time you're shooting 20, 30 yards. So usually you just take that pin and just hold it a little low and you're going to be dead on. But in a longer range situation, how much does angle compensation affect your shot? So many of us don't think about this. I mean, again, we think about it a little bit, but I don't think any of us really know the extremes. And luckily, this sheep hunt taught us both a lot. We looked into it a little more. I knew it was drastic, but I didn't even know it was as drastic as it was. And the big compensation I think that a lot of people don't think about is up and down are almost identical. Now, shooting up, you're not going to be quite as severe as down, but it's like 0.5% off. So literally, whether you're shooting directly above you or directly below you, your pins or your sight fixture are going to be the exact same. So we're going to talk about here, let's say you're shooting 100 yards, okay? 100 yards with the bow, 100 yards with the rifle. At a 60-degree incline, so 60%, 60-degree incline, what you're shooting at is about what we were at. You're literally going to use half of those pins. So if you have a 100-yard sight on your bow, and you're shooting at 60 degrees, you're literally going to use a 50-yard pin, both up and downhill. That's the thought process. How many people think of that?
Yeah.
I mean, people are like, oh, it's 100 yards. I know I'm shooting straight up. Let's use 80. I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm shooting straight up. I better use 120. And they aim high because they think it's going to slow their arrow down. But again, it's the same thing for a rifle. Literally at 100 yards at a 60-degree incline, you were 2 feet off with that bullet at shooting that severe. And so many people again, you put it at the belly, and you're like, oh, that's plenty enough at 100 yards.
Again, it was an assumption. I should have done my homework.
Should have been down at the rock. But guys, again, it's unbelievable what those numbers should be. So again, we'll show you this later. We'll post this on our Facebook page. But again, at a, say, roughly speaking, a 50-degree incline, you're going to be changing it by 35%. 55-degree incline, 40%. And a 60-degree incline, you're up or down, you're going to be off by 50%. So you're going to reduce your pins by 50%. So guys, it's absolutely incredible. Now guys, we got another show coming up just shortly with Randy Newberg. So we're cutting it extremely short tonight. If you have comments, guys, question them in the comments below here. Send us the questions. I will come back and answer all of those questions. And we'll also answer a lot of questions next week when we go live at 7 p.m. Pacific, as we do every day on Tuesday. But guys, big thing here. Next week, it's back to the chase for Ricky. The sheep hunting is done. We got Vinny's kill. Actually, going to throw to a clip of Vinny, our other great friend and taxidermist. This guy waited 34 years for this tag. Yep. You drew quick. Vinny, unfortunately, did not. So there's a very quick picture of Vinny. That gentleman right there is our taxidermist. Actually, a gentleman that married my wife and I. Family friend to the end, and he waited 34 years for that sheep right there. But again, the sheep is now done. We're now booked to focusing next, I think, Wednesday. We're going to be doing a live hunt for some pronghorns. So guys, we're going to have some live footage next week of 2 pronghorn hunts in eastern Colorado, and then from that point on, it is all about Ricky. Devin, if people are just brand new and they haven't seen it, let's throw to Ricky. Devin, our producer's throwing you up a little shot of Ricky. Guys, again, this is a quick shot of the Mega Bull that as of a week from this coming Saturday is back on the menu, and we'll be back chasing him. So guys, the saga of Ricky Jr., Larry continues very shortly. So next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the pronghorn hunt. We'll also be talking about the chase and the back to the options of chasing Ricky, guys. Also, make sure you go to bowtecharchery.com. You got to check out this new framework for all your pictures. It's a great way to share your pictures, get involved with Bowtech Archery, tag Bowtech Archery, guys. There's going to be some great swag, a lot of things a part of that. So go to bowtecharchery.com. Again, I am Nate Zielinski. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Bowtech for allowing us to go live, Bass Pro Shops with Denver, and all of our other partners, guys, a part of this show. And Chad, congratulations, man. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this hunt.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad it ended the way it did.
Thank you for all your help.
Awesome, guys. We'll see you next week. Again, I'm Nate Zielinski. Join us live as we do every single Tuesday. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you next week. Thank you.